Hey, anybody out there have the next hour free?
No, maybe? I don't.
Yeah, no, I think probably you do. You're probably free for the next hour. And if you do, it's 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern on a Monday night, keeping a respectful distance. It's Mission Log Live. I'm John Champion.
And I'm Rekha Sharma, and I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. We do hope that you are doing very, very well and that you're very safe and very healthy. And we are here for you to do the thing that we do, entertain, hopefully, discuss, definitely, chat. Yes, chat. We are your Star Trek pals, and we are here for you as we go headlong into the final episodes of Picard. Tonight, episode 9, just one more week to go. Sad face.
But kind of, I mean, one more week. It's sad, but
exciting.
But so cool. I mean, we're going to wrap this story up, and that's, I'm anxious to get to that. Hey, I don't know if you saw that StarTrek.com posted an exclusive clip of next week. I did not watch it. I want to be completely and utterly spoiler free.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it either.
Yeah, don't even want to see a clip. I just want to enjoy it when we get to watch it in a couple of days. So, yeah, like Rekha just said, one more episode to go. So let's hear your comments, your questions. Click on the Zoom meeting link or use the one tap from your smartphone. You can also call us by dialing 669-900-6833 and entering the meeting code that you see on screen or in the notes.
There are 218 Romulans on the way to wipe out the synths. Was 217 too few? Was 219 too many? Give us a call and let us know what's going on, because we don't know. So click the Zoom link or use the one tap or call 669-900-6833. You do that, and then you'll talk to Earl. And then you'll talk to us, which is super cool, about Picard, about current events. And, please let us know how you're doing, because we want to know.
Yeah. And I was very pleased that, we started the live stream a little early tonight just to make sure there weren't any tech glitches there. And so happy to see that a lot of people were ready to join us on Facebook. And they're just chatting up a storm. And I know we're going to hear from some of them tonight over the phone. There's Peter, says, greetings, John, Rekha, and fellow mission loggers. There's Josh. There is Julian. He says, Julian says, greetings from Canada. I hope everybody is healthy and physically distancing. We can still be social, especially easy here at Mission Log Live. Very good. Hey, Julian and Rekha, just for you guys, I wanted to point out that you're having a little tea. I'm having a little tea. I also brought snacks. I've got my bag of ketchup chips that I brought all the way back from Vancouver.
From President's Choice? Is that what they're from?
Yes. So shout out to my Canadian friends. Going to get down on those in a little bit. We've got David, we've got Paul, we've got Adam, we've got Mauricio, we've got, so many people here. We got Thomas, we got Carlos, so many people saying hello. I'm so glad to see all of you. I've been looking forward to this all day, to be able to chat, hang out a bit, and talk about Picard. Before we get into the show, as we do every week, where we're going to have a poll question, but we also have our sort of updates, our business, what's going on. Here's one little bit of business. There are considerably fewer tiny starships behind me than usual. I'm a little sad about that, a little upset about that. We'll see. I can't go into the office. So we'll see. Now, apparently, and I don't know if you heard this, Rekha, podcasters are essential jobs, at least in LA. So I could theoretically go to the office, and guess what? I'd be the only one there. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
I'll be right there.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe that will happen or not. But for now, I'm at home in my purposely stripped down bare home office. That might change. Depends on how long I'll have to do this. A lot of stuff is postponed. Of course, we mentioned WonderCon and the Nichelle Nichols farewell tour. So everybody just stay tuned. The Nichelle convention, they're saying now rescheduled July 3rd, 4th, 5th in Burbank. So keep an eye on that, see if that stays. Also, I mentioned last week that I was volunteering at the Hollywood Food Coalition. They still need your help. And I know that a lot of you in our live viewing audience, maybe in our listening audience, are not in Southern California. If you are, they are an essential service and still helping those in need. If you are not nearby, I do want to recommend that you follow David Livingston. We've mentioned David Livingston, director, producer since the beginning of TNG, and longtime director on the follow-up series after TNG. Go to Instagram, follow him at still_lives_project. He has been documenting the homeless population in Los Angeles. He, along with John Billingsley and other Trek names that you know, have been big supporters of the Food Coalition. Give him a follow. Let's help spread the word. Like I said, if you are here, maybe you can come volunteer. Ooh, yeah, Rekha, talk to us and you can show. Yeah. Wait, the camera's not going to switch to unless you talk. Talk.
Oh, damn. I just hit the follow button very dramatically and you missed it. I still don't know how this whole screen thing works on Zoom. But anyway, there it is. Still lives. That's what it looks like. And I just followed.
And now David's got a new follower, and all of you please follow. Thank you for doing that live, right? That was unscripted, unrehearsed.
Right?
So, way to go.
Also not on camera.
Well, we got the aftermath. We confirmed that you followed. So that's good. On the live show, we've mentioned we'll have our 2 wrap-ups after Picard wraps its season up. There will be a little bit of a break, a little bit of a hiatus, and we'll just keep everybody up to date when we come back. It'll only be like a week or 2, and then before you know it, we'll be into disco. So lots to come. If you're not following Larry Nemeczek and our good friend Dr. Ali Mattu, please do so. Because so many canceled conventions that were imminent, they have taken upon themselves to do some virtual hangouts, some virtual convention content. So follow on Twitter at Larry Nemeczek and at Ali Mattu, ALIMATTU. And finally, speaking of virtual meetups, this week, Wednesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, come to an open door at Portal 47. That is Larry's sort of premium channel there, but you can go to LarryNemeczek.com and enjoy the free hangout at Portal 47 on Wednesday night. He will have TNG's art provider, Elaine Sokoloff, and he told me a little bit about what she did and what she contributed to the show. You got to have somebody on the production staff to find art, get art onto the set. So she did. This will be a fun chat. So again, Wednesday, the 25th at 7 o'clock with visuals. So let's make sure everybody has their webcam running too. But you can pre-submit questions if you like, and enjoy the chat room. So LarryNemeczek.com, and that will be this Wednesday. So check him out. And Rekha, almost to the recap, but we need to recap our poll question from last week and our poll question from this week. If you would kindly tell folks about our poll from last week.
Absolutely. Last week, we said, what is Narek doing in his ship while everyone is sitting around talking? Well, either he was listening to mission log reruns or playing Angry Birds of Prey. I gotta say, you're a humorous bunch because by just a little bit, 49% listening to mission log reruns, but 51 playing Angry Birds of Prey because it's funny.
It is funny. It is. I mean, I would hope that we would have been 51%, but it's okay. It's okay.
Because as we discussed last week, he is like an angry bird of prey. So.
He is very much so. This week, we asked you in episode 9 of Picard, what were you most disappointed that you didn't see? Angry reptiloids or homicidal fungi? By the way, I said fungi. Do you say fungi? I
say fungi whenever I can.
Of course, right.
I mean, I like fungi.
Yeah, Who wouldn't? So when we asked you that, what were you most disappointed that you didn't see? Angry Reptiloid, 62%. I was picturing a Gorn anyway, so homicidal fungi, 38%. My vote actually went to that 38%. I wanted to see some homicidal fungi, but I guess we'll have to wait. Maybe that'll show up in a novel or a comic book one day. Hey, Reka, I'll do the recap of Et in Arcadio Ego, if you don't mind, and then we'll talk Picard with our guests. All right?
You know what? Let's switch it up. Let's do that.
Okay, I'll do that, and I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
The recap. Traversing the transwarp conduit, La Sirena and crew arrive at Capellius, Soji's homeworld, to be followed shortly by Narek and his little fighter. So there's a fight. Also following is a big old Borg cube emerging from the conduit, and before the fighting can get worse, huge orchids from Capellius arrive in space, open up, and bring those ships right down to the surface. No power, no weapons, no phones, no lights, no motor cars, not a single luxury. Picard was knocked a little goofy when the orchids crashed La Sirena. A tricorder used by Dr. Girardi reveals to her that he has an incurable neural condition, which leads Picard to announce his diagnosis to the whole crew. He doesn't have symptoms, but this will kill him, and nobody should talk to him like he's a dying man. Off to see Soji's homestead, but first to stop by that giant crashed Borg cube. Seven is there, and Elnor, and what's left of the XBs. They get scanners up long enough to show that 218 Romulan warbirds are on their way, maybe a day or two before they get there. Still, a lot of work to be done on that cube, so Seven and Elnor will stay behind, while Picard and the others go to where Soji was made. It's beautiful, super cool and modern in a bucolic setting, like the Getty Museum, but with androids. So many androids, true to form, they come in pairs. Soji's memory is starting to come back. There's her friend Arcana, and there's the guy who runs the place, Dr. Alton Soong, who looks a lot like Data and Data's creator, Dr. Noonien Soong. That was his dad. Soji tells her story, gets the others caught up, and there's a Soji-like synth, Sutra, who is Jana's twin. She's starting to put the pieces together faster than the others and initiates a mind meld with Dr. Girardi to see the admonition that keeps driving the Romulans mad. Turns out that warning in the admonition wasn't meant for organic life. It was meant for synthetic minds. Scary images, then a revelation. The message is from an alliance of synthetics somewhere way out there who are watching, waiting to protect synthetic life when the inevitable happens, when it evolves to the point of being seen as a threat by organics. When the organics try to wipe out the synthetics, these guys will show up and make sure it doesn't happen. In Alton's lab, he's got a project going, a golem, a body into which he can probably transfer a mind. Knowing what Agnes did to Bruce, he asked her if she might be interested in helping him to save a life rather than take one. Also about this time, Soji and Sutra are in some disagreement about what to do with the imminent Romulan attack, fight or run. Soji is in the run camp. That means Raffi and Rios need to get back to La Sirena to see if they can get her flying. With some downtime, oh, hey, look who it is. The Sense found this jerk wandering in the desert. It's Narek, and now he's in a holding cell precisely where he can play mind games with Arcana's sister Saga, who is watching after him. Fortunately, Soji drops by to put a lid on him. Picard, meanwhile, tries to hail someone at Starfleet to let them know what's going on, to no avail. Soji drops in to check on him, obtusely expressing that she wonders about killing in the name of their greater good. I mean, she did just see Narek, and he's still got that perfectly tousled hair, but he's just so evil. While they talk, Sutra relieves Saga and what? Kind of halfway seduces and then releases Narek. There's a scream. Saga is dead. and Narek runs off toward the Borg cube. Seizing this moment, Sutra speaks about what's coming. The threat of attack from the Romulans, but she's got her idea. The admonition gave her info, plans on how to build a subspace beacon to alert the other more powerful synthetics to come to the rescue, to excise them from the threat of all organics. Picard's like, excuse me, did you say all organics? Yeah, JL, she did. Then you better believe he goes full Picard. Speech, promises, he'll fight for them, be their advocate, it'll be awesome. Nope. Dr. Soong knows what happened between Picard and Starfleet after the attack on Mars. Soji takes it a step further. This organic is now under house arrest. Dr. Girardi, too. The Agnes begs to stay free. She's like their mother. Plus, she needs to help Dr. Soong. Would a mother die to protect her children? Sutra asks. Yes, she would. And here come the Romulans. The end. Stay tuned for part 2.
Very nice.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's what happened.
It is.
Yeah, it was in Arcadia Ego Part 1. So just very cleverly next week, Part 2. Yeah. So much to say, and I can't wait to get to all the details here, but I think we just absolutely should get right to our callers. And waiting patiently with a fur friend is Paul. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. And who's your friend?
This is the Scone. He's our cat who just showed up one day and hung out, and now he manages on his own, though. He goes out for his own food, so he just hopped up here right now.
Oh, he's big. That is
much bigger when he's close to the camera. Ooh, he's
yeah.
working.
Very cute. Now, organic or synthetic cat?
Totally organic.
Okay.
He survives on mice, so who knows what else he's eating out there.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you don't know. Spot 2 might be able to survive on mice, but maybe synthetic mice. We'd have to ask. We'd have to find out. Yeah. So what's on your mind tonight, Paul?
Well, first of all, it's absolutely funny to watch Rika react off screen while John is reading. That's priceless. It's worth the call in right there. I was cracking up watching her. First of all, I got to say the show is sort of just rekindled Star Trek in me that Discovery couldn't. But early on, the whole thing about being made in pairs to me became sort of obvious, as I'm sure was a lot of people, this lore data thing. Is that what you got out of that? Is that what that was for?
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely it justifies lore and data having been a pair. Although, where does B4, did B4 have another brother?
Yeah, the whole pair thing sort of threw me for a loop. And sort of emailed you about that, and you found it intriguing. But, going forward, this last episode, it just sprung in my head. What happens if, let's say you have the hollow Rios there. And what if one of those guys decides to take over a synth? Are they considered AI? And why then shouldn't we consider AI any different than these synths? These sort of hollow beings. They live out there. They just don't know how to turn themselves on.
Right.
Technology there, John. What do you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, see, I thought that was one of the most interesting things that got followed in Voyager was whether or not the Doctor was a being. And, the whole pretense there is, okay, you have to leave him on all the time because the real Doctor gets killed. So this hologram that's meant only for short-term specific use, when you turn that on and that computer that's running it is constantly sending and receiving data, does it evolve? Does it grow beyond its programming? And then they had the pretense of the holo emitter, so he could go anywhere. He wasn't just limited to sickbay. Over the 7 years of that show, I thought they built a really good case for the Doctor being a being.
I'm so tempted to text him right now and just be like, were you a being or not?
You should. Ask Bob. Find out.
So let's switch it around then. Let's say the synth gets on the ship and says, well, here's all these hollow beings. Why can't the synth then download themselves to be around forever and be a nemesis constantly? You turn on the ship and, there's a synth there bothering you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a perfect question. Soji has obviously already been on the ship and she's already been exposed to the holograms. She knows that they exist, presumably kind of how they work. So this is not a mystery to her. I wonder if in sort of the hierarchy of intelligences or beingness, do the synths see themselves as more advanced? Do they see the hollow beings as simply a tool that can be switched on and off? And I wonder if that's partly how the humans see this. It's like, well, that's controllable. I can tell it to go away. If we cut power to the ship, they cease to exist at that point. But the androids are a bit more autonomous.
Isn't that the same thought, though, why we created synthetics? Even though we thought we could turn them off, too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let's bring the expert in, Rekha. You were one of many. Were you made in pairs?
We were not made in pairs. There was no pairing involved. I mean, we were all just the one, but you could have copies. But as one of the final fives, we had no copies, which was really a bum deal. I guess we knew it was so much of a bum deal that we made the rest of them with copies.
Ah, okay. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Our children. Little Trisha.
Do either of you put any stock into this idea that Dr. Alton is not who he says?
I really don't know. Okay. I've been so enamored with this show, and when he showed up, I'm like, well, which song is he? And it's just priceless, and I prefer not even to think about it. I just let it happen and then sort of think about it, later. And then what always comes back to me is these writers. Ever since the Deep Space Nine documentary, I wonder what those writers' rooms were like, right?
Sure.
You watch that in the DS9 documentaries, people just throwing these ideas out there. And my wife and I, Michelle, we just sit there and go, wow, how crazy must that writer's room have been for this series? I'm so excited and glad that it's happened, and I'm looking forward to more. And God bless Jean-Luc Picard and hope his health holds up, because he looks frail in the show. I know he's not that frail in person, but it just makes us all feel a little older. But thank God, it's just been such a huge lift in this time of whatever we got going on here. Yeah. So, and you guys too. This hour together, and Rekha, welcome to. I don't know how much longer you're with us, but great addition, and always lovely to watch you guys. And I'm actually participating, so I'm gonna let you guys move on to the next one. And thanks.
I feel the same way. I was so looking forward to this day, like for days now. I've been like, Monday's gonna be awesome.
Yay. Paul, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you whenever we can. Please give my best to Michelle, and let's do this again, okay?
Will do, sir. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Guys. Live long and prosper, all right? Hey, let's hop over to Karen. Karen, welcome to the show.
Hey, Karen.
Oh, hi. How are you all?
We're doing all right. How are you?
Hi, yeah.
Well, pretty good overall, considering.
Yes, yes.
I thought I would mention, just because Paul brought up Pat Stewart and what a joy he's been in this time. Another thing he's doing I just love is he's doing a sonnet every day on Instagram. That's just awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Yes. I think that is one of my favorite things. That and Neil Diamond doing his new version of Sweet Caroline, hands Don't touch my hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Michael Chabon is reading a bedtime story every night.
Who is
Choosing Michael Chabon, the writer for Picard. He is reading one of his children's favorite bedtime stories. He said he missed reading bedtime stories to children. So he's doing one of those every day on Instagram. And he just makes me laugh. He's so good.
That is so awesome.
So a couple other Star Trek adjacent things.
Yeah. Oh, too
but
cool.
I did have a thought about this week's show. And I was thinking about Ruck. You remember Ruck from What Are Little Girls Made Of?
How can you forget Ted Cassidy, Lurch himself, looking huge and imposing.
Right, and he talks about the old ones, and they found him there tending machinery. And he actually talks about being more sophisticated than even the Dr. Brown android or Andrea. And sophistication of the androids seemed to be this threshold that's talked about in the admonition. It's like they reach some kind of threshold, and it apparently is some kind of sophistication level.
Right.
And his, out of all, there were tons of android episodes, of course, but theirs was the one that they were given wants and desires, and the old ones began turning them off because they had evolved too far. And Ruck actually says in that episode when Kirk is goading him, and he says, that's it, existence, survival must preempt, or whatever he says, programming, because they were programmed not to harm. But I was like, what if this federation of synths that's out there waiting to come is related to these old ones, synths and androids? I don't know. I was just like, they just kind of fit because they're, all about destroying organic life and bringing chaos. They want and even Roger in that episode became enamored once he became an android of eliminating all of the discord and the bad things. And so I don't know. To me, I'm wondering, is this related somehow to them?
So I think what you're hitting on is thematically, absolutely. Whether they tie it back specifically to that, I'd be very curious to see. But something that's so cool to me is that there are a lot of places in Star Trek where we've dealt with this problem of manufactured intelligence superseding what humanity can do, and how do we deal with that? So yeah, you've got What Are Little Girls Made Of? You've got Nomad in The Changeling. You've got V'ger coming back.
Well,
in Star Trek
I always thought
Picture.
About Nomad. We never did know what he ran into that changed his programming to purify from soil samples to life. And I'm like,
right.
He could have, what if all of these androids, if you had a coalition of them that went off to be safe because they could go further than, the organics were going. And I thought, well, Nomad, true, we never knew who he ran into. What if it was also like, Ruck's people, Nomad? What if they're all like, if there's a way back here off in the universe, these people are related to all these disparate stories that we've had throughout Star Trek and never really had an origin for. What if they're the same thing? And
what about Mudd's androids in iMud? It's so funny. David in the chat says, "Oh wow!" ! Karen is really onto something here. I totally forgot about that line from Ruck. There's a hidden crossover there. So you're definitely hitting something here with the audience, and I have to share this for everybody, and I know that there are others hanging on here, but this is great. So before the show, when Earl and I kind of passed notes back and forth, and we're figuring out how the show's going to come together, he sent me this great email, and I want to read it to everybody. It's just so perfect. Just to make sure I give full credit where it's due here to the inimitable Earl Green, our technical director. He said, by the way, looking over the notes, first time I watched this, I noticed that the costuming on the synthetics was very Bill Tice, William Ware Tice, who did the costumes for the original series and then into the first season of Next Gen. Then after watching it a second time, I went back and looked at some TOS. They deliberately riffed on the costumes for Reyna, so Requiem for Methuselah, the Mud androids, especially the women from I, Mud, and Andrea from What Are Little Girls Made Of, almost like they're suggesting that all of the artificial life we've seen in Trek, whether it was invented by Dr. Corby or Flint or Soong, is part of a continuum. And I can't, and here's my favorite note that he said, I can't decide if that's retcon overreach or if it's brilliant. So thank you, Earl, who I know is listening, but staying silent right now as he makes the magic of the show happen. But yeah, that plays exactly into what you're talking about, Karen. And it might be this subtle, not so subtle nod of at least giving some thematic tie to all of that. Now, whether they hit it right on the head and say, yes, these are all connected specifically, don't know. But I love the idea that they're dropping these cues to us.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not that, but I was just like, I don't know. Siobhan is a big TOS fan.
Yes.
Big TOS fan. And everybody's always, for years now, we're like, oh man, there's a lot of androids all the way through, it just because there are a lot.
Yeah.
So,
and they're usually problematic. Like until we got Data, those androids were usually problematic. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyhow, that was, and then also I'd just be really interested to know who you think will end up in that golem.
I know. So, well, what did you think, and what did you think, Rekha, after that? What did you think, Karen?
What do you think? Well, I don't know. I seriously don't know, but I'm not sure that it's going to be Soong.
No, you don't think it'll be Soong? Because Soong's the one who presented it.
I am not sure. I think it's meant for him. It's his little lifeboat.
Okay.
But I don't know. Agnes, I don't know. I think she stayed behind for a reason. And she's old. I don't know. Anyhow, I wondered what you guys thought, because I don't know. And I really am like 50-50 on if he's going to make it into there, because I kind of don't think he's going to.
I'm in the same boat, honestly. I really don't know. I have no theories going. I found the whole ending very thrilling because of the I don't know. Because I'm like, what? I have like so many questions about every single person, and you feel like you can't trust anybody. It's sort of like our current state of affairs, like, like things are crazy and you don't know who you can trust.
Yeah.
And who actually killed what's her bucket with the bird thing in the eye? Was it Sutra, or was it Narek, or did Narek get set up by Sutra?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyhow,
although they did tease that with Narek noticing the brooch.
But that could have been a purposeful misdirect too.
Exactly.
And because I don't think you could kill an android with a little bitty bird beak, but Sutra would know how to do that to make it look like Narek, but do something else.
It's like, how would he even know? Like, oh wait, did that? Like, then that also begged the question of like, is that how you kill them, in just that one eye? And it has that information and like.
Well, eyes are very big in this show. Eyes are all over the place. They're in the credits. There's the eye. Yeah, they're everywhere. So.
Yep. Yeah. Man, yeah, that's because you would think that if an android, the positronic brain is really all you need. So just going into an eye, like, so what? You get a new eye.
He's not a good guy, but I'm not sure that he killed her.
I think you're onto something. What we're saying here is this is a lot to wrap up in one.
Yeah, it is. But I'm sure it's engaging.
Wait, what did you say, Rekha?
I just said I don't understand how they're going to do it, and I I wonder if, in fact, that it's going to be a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of the season, really, and they're not going to wrap up a bunch of things, and we're just going to have to wait until the next season to find out.
Interesting. I got to wonder.
Well, I'll let you go. Hey, I'm taking up a bunch of time, so.
Well, Karen, come back next week, okay? We'll see you then.
Pretty excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Waiting patiently. Always a pleasure to see him. It's the Vice Admiral joining us tonight. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, the usual. Well, the usual for today, of course, which is working from home, trying to stay sane. How about you?
Same and
Both.
Probably same if I speak for you, Rekha. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat these days.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Wait, hey, before we get going, what does it say on your shirt? Wait, you got to speak so we can.
My life is a very complicated drinking game.
Silly.
Especially at the moment, that seems more appropriate than usual.
Boy.
Very nice. I love it.
And then luckily, in most states that have closures, liquor stores are considered essential. So.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Except Pennsylvania for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why that was.
Interesting. Wow.
But yeah. Luckily,
Right.
Ohio so far. Anyway.
Yeah, talk to us.
So you remember last week we talked about how the message is probably not, in fact, for organics, and that turned out to be true.
Boom. You were dead on. Yes.
It wasn't just me. It was a lot of folks on the internet, of course. But I think that we're still seeing a misinterpretation of it, though. I think that there's no way a civilization that's been around this long and is able to do what these folks have done is going to be out there to just say, hey, let's commit some genocide. Why not?
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing I did have down in my notes along those lines is like, the whole thing feels like the coronavirus. Constantly run for our lives, and who can you trust, as I was saying earlier. But also this admonition, this message, everybody's response is the same, which is like, somebody has to kill somebody else, instead of, hey, let's save everyone.
Yeah.
Let's all get along, or at least try to, right?
Let's all stay 2 meters apart from each other, or 6 feet. Not in the metric system in the United States.
6 parsecs, maybe.
Yeah. Let's all work as a team. Let's not be on the beach killing each other.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And a thing that, go ahead. Sorry.
What I kind of loved is that the synth's response is just as shitty as the humans. Like, they're not actually any better than the organics.
Here's your edit point, Earl. 36 minutes into the show.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, no, you bring up a really interesting idea here. So obviously Picard is the one who is advocating for we can work together. We can all try to figure this out, which is exactly what he should be doing, which is exactly the voice of Star Trek as far as I'm concerned. When you were just talking about that, about this AI civilization, or as they said, a federation of AI who are so advanced that they could show up across galaxies in an instant. In an instant, they could wipe out other species sort of at their whim. So they have this incredibly advanced technology. There is this theory sort of based around the Drake equation that tries to posit how much intelligent life there is in the universe, that you have to temper that with the idea that civilizations might get so advanced that they would wipe themselves out before they would ever become that threat, or before we would ever know about them. So I really have to wonder that this is a great sort of intellectual exercise to sort of wrap our heads around, which is, can you have an intelligence so advanced as this supposed AI that would be able to survive without having either blown itself up or wiped out everything else and every resource around it, and in effect wiping itself out? You would think that something that advanced would not turn to genocide as the way to protect itself. You would also hope that something that advanced would not have wrecked itself in the course of its evolution. So I don't know what we're going to get here, and maybe there, hopefully, there is something within this that isn't as doom and gloom as we've been led to believe. I don't know.
I hope you're right. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. And one of the pieces of evidence that I would point to is that, people have been seeing all the images of things like Data and the attack on Mars and stuff in the vision, in the admonition, and saying, well, that's just, they're reusing footage. No, what if that message keeps constantly getting updated? And these folks have been monitoring everything the whole time. So they don't need to be called. They just want to see what happens, and they want to see who does.
Right. Yeah, I wondered about that too. Yeah. And hey, what are the Q doing during all of this?
Well, let's hope they're all hanging out somewhere very far away.
They can be anywhere all the time. They're omnipotent. They can do whatever they want. They can just show up and say, like, hey, we're going to snap our fingers. And
I'm sure there's not one living in a cabin on Infinity Lake. That's all I'm saying.
With a puppy, probably. Yeah. They got Q puppies. Hey, thanks so much for calling in, man.
Yeah, hey, as always, great to talk to you too. Stay safe, and I'll get out of the way of other folks here.
All right, man. Excellent. Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Hey, we have Jason, who just got back. He just stepped away. Now he's back. Perfect timing. So welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you. Greetings from Japan.
Amazing.
Right on. Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. Where in Japan are you?
Nagano, right in the center.
Fantastic. And how long have you been there, by the way?
15 years now, 15 and a half.
Right on. So it's home.
Yeah, I've been here a long time.
Yeah, it's home for sure. Excellent.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for chiming in. I guess it's morning there.
Right afternoon, not quite noon.
Oh, okay, not quite noon. Hey, and you have a visitor. You have a guest.
Yes, this is my eldest. He's having fun making faces at everybody around the world. You do know that you're online, kid. Everybody's seeing you.
And it will be recorded, and it will continue to be online later.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be great. You're famous. Yay.
That and Earl's cats are going on the highlight reel. That is the entirety of the highlight reel right there. So.
And I got another one too.
Hey, hello to both of you.
They actually do watch Picard with me. So I know you guys have been talking about how scared you are about if it's accessible. They watch it with me. But usually a lot of questions about it afterwards. But
yeah, what do you guys all think? How are you liking Picard?
How do you like Picard?
Funny.
It's funny. And how do you like Picard?
It's funny.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not terrifying. You're not having nightmares.
Are you scared of Picard? You're scared of Picard. Are you scared of Picard? One is, one isn't. So you got a 50-50 split.
Okay. Very good.
What's the age of the one who isn't scared?
12 and 9.
Right.
12 and 9.
Where between 9 and 12 is the demarcation line, possibly.
Yeah. Well, one of them is actually really scared of the Borg. He refuses to watch any Borg episodes, so that's been part of it.
But I wonder with this, with Picard learning the humanity of the Borg and having some sympathy for the Borg, I wonder if that might change that a little bit.
That's what I've been hoping for. But he's still scared of the Borg, so he refuses to watch Best of Both Worlds. I'm working on it.
That is so cool. I'm so glad that they joined us tonight. What is on your mind tonight as we talk about our penultimate Picard?
All right. Can I step back from the penultimate to just the series? Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
I think I have a Superman issue with Picard.
Talk to us.
Okay. All right. Superman, of course, is the ultimate hero, and he is very boring to write for because he is Superman. TNG, Picard was the ultimate captain. And he was difficult to write for during the series, I guess you would say, because he was always did what's right, always going on. And I'm finding as I'm watching Picard, I love Patrick Stewart as an actor. I love seeing him age and Picard who has failed and trying to regain. but I'm not sure I'm as happy with Admiral Jean-Luc Picard because he's not as the perfect captain anymore.
Huh.
Because I like Superman. I like Superman a lot. I like having that perfect character to aspire to.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a little disappointed that Admiral Picard is not as wonderful as Captain Picard. What do you guys think?
Do you have something, Rika? Because I would kind of pose that back as a question. I mean, do you think that what we're seeing in Picard, though, is a failing of him, or is it a failing of what's around him? Because I think the way that I've started to look at this show is that he tried, he stuck to his principles. The situation around him crumbled, and the biggest fault is that he was so principled that he stepped away.
That's where I think he failed.
Okay.
This is the man who, he did tell Data, you can do everything right and still lose. And that I can accept. But he's also the one who, as you constantly say, when you do diplomacy and it doesn't work, you talk again. And when that doesn't work, you talk again. And the idea that it's not even okay, here's my principles and I'm going to step back from Starfleet because I disagree. But then he abandoned Raffi, he abandoned the Romulans, he abandoned Eleanor, our favorite space elf. He isolated himself. He didn't just lose, he chose to fail. And
is it a situation where that outside failure was so profound that it could knock a hero like that down? I mean, I really hear what you're saying, and I get it, because I want my heroes to be heroic. I also want them to be relatable. And so I ask myself, like, could I achieve something, but then have been so beaten down by it that I abandon myself, like I said, my values,
That's where I feel like I have a Superman problem with it. On one hand, I'm enjoying the drama. I'm enjoying the Picard seeing his failure and coming back to it and trying to make right what once went wrong. Different sci-fi series, but
well, every hero has a redemption story.
Right. But on the other hand, there is, like I said, I admit Superman is boring dramatically, but I like having that idea, that perfect thing to sit there and look at. And as someone who TNG was he's back. TNG was my Trek and Picard was my captain. I'm finding myself with mixed feelings about towards the end of the series.
This is a great thing to talk about. And I think this is actually, we're going to do the 2 wrap-up shows. So after this season is done, I would love to probably continue this conversation there as well. As you're saying this, I'm thinking about Superman giving up his powers and stepping away from his responsibility to save people because, hey, he's got a girlfriend now. And then I think about Superman getting drunk and beating himself up in Superman 3, unless we just don't talk about Superman 3.
Please let's not talk about Superman 3.
Okay, we won't. But it's got Robert Vaughn and Richard Pryor.
True. Okay, good point there.
This is honestly, this is the kind of conversation I'd love to have, like Michael Chabon on, or one of the writers, to talk about how do you take this hero character. You have to give that character a dramatic arc. You have to give them a reason for what they're doing and keep them grounded and interesting and introduce conflict and do all these things that we have to do dramatically, but without losing something within that character that you specifically here really see as aspirational and see as heroic. Yeah.
Well, I'm, like I said, going into the final episode, just feeling really conflicted about it and trying to see where it goes. But yeah, that was my two yen, because I'm in Japan instead of 2 cents.
Well, that's a wonderful comment. It's a great thing to be able to kind of wrap our heads around as we see where this goes. I really appreciate that. And please do call back. All right.
Yeah, if I can give it a chance. And may I do one small thing real quick?
Absolutely. Whatever you want.
Reika, really big fanboy moment. I loved you on Disco. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. But I want to speak to your question just for 2 seconds before you go.
Please.
My 2 yens. I totally hear what both of you are saying, and I love both of your points. And I would love to be part of that conversation with the writers too. But I think I want to take this a step deeper to. It's, not just the difficulties of telling a dramatic story, but actually the difficulties of being a human being and the striving for ideals and perfection that we all have. And I as a person who's an Aquarian, it's in my bones to be so idealistic and want a utopian society. It's why I became such a huge Trek fan when I was a little girl in elementary school, because I long for that. And yet, a lot of my work, I think in my life in general, is to be able to come to terms with my humanity and my small-mindedness and my pettiness and because a lot of us who want that ideal life tend to sort of float a little bit above, and it's wonderful because we're the dreamers of society and we can imagine life that's better. But we still need to be I don't know how to say it, but we're in bodies and it's dirty and it's messy and we have a lot of feelings that don't make any sense. And I don't want to live truly in an ideal state, because I think it's a little bit out of touch with reality. And I think to stand in the middle with all of our ideals and our hearts and all of the visions that we have for a wonderful life, to stand with that and still go, yeah, but oh my God, I'm so annoyed by that person. And even though I'm so annoyed by that person in this moment because they're doing something I don't like, I'm not going to float above it. I'm going to stay in it and still choose to do the right thing. Have I said too much? Do you guys know what I'm saying?
No, I follow you.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. So I like it. I like that it's messy, because I think, well, that's just what we're dealing with. And my God, we're in such a mess right now.
Yeah.
This is definitely true.
Well said, both of you. Okay. And I want to continue this conversation, but we have a couple more callers we're going to try to get into before we have to wrap it up in a few minutes. Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for letting me on.
All right.
And my sons too.
Well, thank you to them as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Take care.
Cheers.
Good luck and prosper. Let's head over to, I believe we have Ryan next. No. Adam is next. Adam.
Hello. You guys hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you, Adam?
Good. How are you? Hello from the Motor City. And first off, a tip of the hat to the Guru Earl for walking me through all my technical challenges getting connected. So
he is a guru for real.
He is. Yes. Listener from the very beginning, first time caller. I actually want to get a little hypothetical and look into season 2. And I had a hypothesis here. We know that Patrick Stewart has said he wants to get the rest of the Enterprise bridge crew onto the show. If memory serves, we have yet to see a Federation starship from this era, from the 2390s. So what are the odds that we might get a little flyby of the Enterprise F in order to get another crew member into the show for next season?
Oh, see, I would love that. You get a little teaser at the end, like they did at the end of season 1 of Disco.
Exactly.
Look, it's the Enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that could be cool. Yeah, there's a lot of people obviously we haven't seen.
Right.
Worf and Beverly and Wesley and Geordi and there's so many that we could be reunited with. I like where you see, if you were a writer on this show, I'd be like, yes.
Years ago, a friend and I submitted a spec script to Deep Space Nine, which turned out to be scarily similar to Bada Boom, Bada Bing, but no bitterness. They actually sent back the original script unopened because it was probably too late in the series run. But
wow, okay.
Cool. Very much enjoying this and enjoying all the commentary. And, it'll be a little sad when Picard ends. I guess we'll have to wait for Discovery to start up. And so fingers crossed, maybe a couple of we haven't heard about any short treks in between Picard and Discovery, have we?
We haven't, but I mean, just think about it. We got Discovery, and then you've got Lower Decks starting up. So a lot of new stuff coming, Yeah. That's exciting. So,
well, appreciate the chance to launch my hypothesis. We'll see how right I am. And,
I love it. Best
of luck with the rest of the broadcast.
I hope you call back next week and say, I was right. All right. Take care, Adam. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And now it looks like we got Brian. Hey, BC, what's up?
Oh, what are you doing? I didn't expect that I was going to make it or not. I know you've seen enough of me this week. You really don't.
No, it's good to see you as always. I'm glad you joined us for the Patreon chat.
I was slightly distracted on the last one. Who did Adam suggest come back for the next episode?
Oh, not a specific person, just that you have. Will we get teased with like a flyby, and then you could introduce really anybody?
Oh, okay.
You could have Jordy. You could have Leslie. Whomever. Yeah. But,
I didn't have much to add. I was just I tuned in late, so I didn't know what I'd missed. But I was noticing, since this seems to be the ultimate soon family reunion, this series, where we're seeing just about every living or synthetic relative of Data's, which it can be kind of it's baked into his character since day one, right? Because Lore was there from day one, and so it's just kind of like another surprise revelation of Data's family. It's like, now he's got this whole colony of people, and look, his half brother. He's not an evil twin brother. He's a twin brother.
Could you imagine if this was your life? Like every 5 years, it's like, oh, here's another family member I didn't know about. Oh, here's I mean,
it's really weird.
Gone wrong.
Yeah, right.
But the thing that sprang to my mind, and maybe stop me if somebody already mentioned this, but the one person who I like to see turn up is Data's mom.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Data's mom, of course, they put her consciousness into an android. The name of the episode is escaping me, but yes.
It was an Inheritance.
Inheritance.
Juliana Tainer was the character's name. Fionnuala Flanagan, who I love as an actress, and that's kind of like, I'd love to see her again. Unfortunately, she's like in her late 70s. I don't know if they would have bagged her as a potential guest star, but it seems like if everyone else is there, someone might summon her to the planet and have her partake in it. So that was my crazy random prediction for what's going to happen in the next episode. That's not going to happen in the next episode.
Well, you never know. They're just going to keep introducing new family members, new characters. We still don't know who's going into that golem or what happened with that before. So,
well, that's the same concept, right?
Yeah, totally.
Consciousness into a droid. Again, that's what she was, and so it went ding. It's like, oh yeah, what happened to her? She's probably still around, but you don't know. So that's all I had. You've got 60 seconds left, so I'll.
Well, we might go a minute longer because I know that we've got Dominic hanging on. So, Brian, thank you so much.
All right. See you next time.
Take it easy, man. Be good. Bye-bye.
Live long.
There we go. Yeah. All right. So wrapping up the show tonight, we got Dominic. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing great.
Excellent. What's on your mind tonight? Yes, we can.
Yes.
I don't mean to be insensitive, but I am grateful for the time off. I finally make it through an episode of Mission Log Live.
Well, that is, I wish the circumstances were better, but I'm glad to have new people join us, and I'm glad you can catch us live. So a pleasure to have you.
I always listen to when I get off work. I work at a bar, so I have time off now, but I always listen to it once I get off work and I'm riding home. I really have enjoyed this episode, and I like how we're talking a lot about humanity. I really liked when Picard said the difference between killing or attacking an enemy or watching a wounded one die. Like, his wisdom is always there.
Yeah.
And I really like, I love so many things about Star Trek. Reika was talking about idealism, and I really enjoy that, like the anti-ageism, like the Star Trek movies, and now with Picard, he's an older person, and he's always there with his wisdom and experience when it's needed. And in fact, when he was like, I could be ticked off if you don't treat me with dignity, when he made that announcement, I just think it just gets better and better. I'm trying to talk fast, but
it's okay.
Dominic,
I'm loving it.
You love it when she says they're just lines, but they imply so much more: grief, endurance.
Yeah.
Oh,
loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, that got me too.
Yeah.
It did make me think about those scenes in Logan's Run, though, where we have Peter Ustinov, and at the very end, I don't want to spoil it, but it came out in 1976. Come on. They end up back at the City of the Domes, and all the young people are escaping from the city, and there's the old man, the first old man they've ever seen, and the young woman goes up to touch his face because they've never seen lines in it. Oh, Logan's Run, people.
Oh, I love that, too. After he does the cat's bit.
I watch that movie. I don't know if I've actually ever seen it.
It's so
Logan's
cool.
Run is awesome.
The classic. I need to change that this week.
Yeah, you got time. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Logan's Run, THX 1138.
Mm-hmm. A lot of classics.
Great movies that are kind of relatable to now.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Very much so. What else, Dominic? Anything before we wrap it up and say goodnight?
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me close out. Happy to be here.
Well, please call back. Look forward to it, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Take care. Well, Reika, here we are at the end again. It flew by.
Nice.
So many people with so many great comments.
Yeah.
So tell you what, if you want to tell people where they can find the rest of the RPN shows, and then we'll say goodnight.
Okay, I can do that. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining Mission Log Live, and the other shows that will help you get through this another crazy week is the Priority One podcast, which is a magazine-style show featuring all the happenings in the Star Trek multiverse. So you can join them for their live show on Tuesday nights at 5 Pacific and 8 Eastern. Women at Warp, love these ladies. A look at Star Trek through, I can't even talk. Star Trek through a feminist lens. The Trek Files, your weekly deep dive into the Roddenberry archive with Dr. Trek Larry Nemeczek.
This is my favorite promo ever.
Daily Star Trek news. It is just like it sounds. It's your dose of daily Star Trek. All the news that fits in about just 10 minutes. And finally, oh my God, finally, a science show that entertains as well as educates. I feel like Catherine O'Hara in shit where she can't talk and she's commercial. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. Anyway, that science show that I just mentioned that entertains as well as it educates is called Shabam.
Shabam!
Shabam! Give him a listen. You can subscribe to all of them. Take it away. Podcast.roddenberry.com. Do it.
Yay. All right. Now that we're through that, we'll sign it off by saying that Mission Log is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment, executive producer Rod Roddenberry, technical production on Mission Log Live by the incredible Earl Green. If you would like to support Mission Log directly, give us a look at patreon.com/missionlog. Thank you to everyone. Sincerely, thank you to everyone who was able to join us tonight live or is joining us later. Please, again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to talking with you next week.